We're the Hebrew Israelites who come out here week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of the United States, aka Babylon the Great. And we're here to tell you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that you're the Lord's chosen people, and also that these prophecies are coming into play. The mark of the beast is an RFID microchip. What else? His heavenly name is Yahweh. That's the name of the Father, and then Yahweh Shai's name is his Son, his only begotten Son, which people ignorantly call God and Jesus.
So with that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash.
And double honors to the apostles of GMS, because they're the only ones that got the truth, and we all have to have teachers. And 15? Alright, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple scriptures on it's a sin that our people, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you know, the Israelites, that they don't know about. You know, it's a big sin that a lot of our people are doing that they're ignorant of, you know. And there's an Israelite camp, and it's called IUIC, and they're called Israelite or
Israelites United in Christ.
Israelites United in Christ, you know, and they're false prophets because they teach a lot of stuff that's contrary to the Bible.
Yep.
You know, they teach you could have tattoos.
What the fuck? Are you serious? I didn't know that. I didn't fucking know that.
I'm not sure if it's that camp, but I know it's one of those camps. But IUIC, you know, that if you check out their one of their latest videos, you know, because the GMS camp, they're getting on them right now because they're teaching that they could have sex on the Sabbath. You know.
No.
So you can't just have sex whenever you want. You know.
And you can forget sometimes, but still you gotta correct yourself. And the Apostle Har put out a video today that if you do that, you're unclean till that evening.
Yeah. That's right, because having sex, you know, it's an unclean act. You know, and the Most High, when He said to keep the Sabbath day holy, you know, that means you got to be clean.
That's the most important part. Because it also says that He told Moses to take off his shoes before he entered the temple. Take off your shoes, man, because your shoes are filthy. You're carrying around all kinds of filth and dust. Oh, shit. This is Leviticus 15 and 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be clean until the evening.
Yeah, so right there it said if any man's seed of copulation, and the seed, that means your sperm, because when you look that word up in the Greek, it'll say sperm, it'll say offspring. You know? So your seed of copulation, and your copulation, when you look that word up, goes into sexual relation. So it said, if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. Means until the evening. You know, yep. And also, Gabar, Apostle Gabar too said, say if you take a nap, or say you take a nap in the daytime and you have a wet dream, right? So that's called a seed of copulation. That means you're unclean. You know, you have to clean yourself.
Now, that could happen, but let's say you are having that dream. And I'm not gonna make a bold statement, but myself, when I have dreams, I catch myself. If I'm having a dream, I know I'm having this dream. Want to know why? Because I'm always waiting for something to happen. Like you know what I'm always afraid of. For me, it happens a lot. Like I'll be sleeping and shit, or in a dead sleep, and all of a sudden I have a dream where my fucking spirit just goes up into the fucking sky, and it won't stop. So I get so fucking scared of that I'm always prepared to wake myself up. I'm always prepared to wake myself up, and then I tell myself to wake myself. And unless the Lord puts a heavy spirit on me, and I can't, which then it will be a nightmare, and I can't control that. I have no power over it. I don't have any power. None of us have any power. But you got to catch yourself in every moment. Shit, every moment. Because you're being constantly attacked. Okay, this is Leviticus 15 and 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in the water and be unclean until even.
That's right. So even though the Most High,
I like that shirt, man.
Thank you.
you know, even though the Most High, even though He said to be fruitful and multiply, you know, you can, but there's a time and place for that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too. There's a time and place. So guess what? You gotta make if you got a woman and you're barely with her and you're gonna have kids, you have to plan that shit around the Sabbath. You have to plan that, even though the woman's goes on the moon cycle. See, everything goes on the moon cycle. You know what I just found out? That cockfighting goes. If you raise the rooster, you should raise them by the moon cycle, by the new moon. So guess what? I'm trying to raise them by the new moon, and I had to learn that from Hawaiians. We had to get back our heritage from fucking all over the place, because it's all over the place. Little bits and pieces have been taken from us here and there. So when you lay down with your wife, you got to make sure it's A, she is not on her period, B, it's not on the Sabbath, and C, that you're going to get her pregnant, or you know, whatever happens. You got to be prepared, because you're going to be unclean for that whole day till evening.
So,
Can you read that again?
yeah, and then go on to the next.
This is the Leviticus 15 and 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean till the evening.
Right, so it says whereon is the seed of copulation. So wherever it's on, it's on your clothes or it's on your skin, you know, you got to clean it off.
And if you gave yourself a handy, guess what? It's now your fucking hand is dirty and you know shit like that. Hey man, this is a real delicate issue, and we're learning all the time. We're learning. There's so many things that I didn't know about that I learned last week. Like Apostle Ramla was getting into how they introduced a lot of sentences and words into because it's supposed to be, well, I can't get it right now, but it's supposed to be the spirit, the water, and the blood. But these motherfuckers made it to be the spirit, the Father, and the Son, and all kinds of different things. So hey, that's why we say double honors to the apostle, man, because who else you gonna learn? Hey man, who else are you gonna learn by or from? We were learning from the apostles. That's where we're getting this from, and then we're teaching you, and then we're understanding it.
So you even got to wash your clothes and your skin. Oh, because even too, the Lord said that there's a law that when a woman has a boy child, that she's going to be unclean for 40 days. And if she has a girl child, she'll be unclean for 80 days. See, so that goes to show you how unclean women are, you know.
Wow, can you imagine that? 40 days. See, we're in Babylon, so we're so used to Babylon that I can't imagine going 40 days without sex. Because I have a woman, and I'm like, what the fuck, 40 days? That's a long time. 80 days, that's a long time. That's why we have to have multiple wives in the kingdom, but not, you can't do that this round in Babylon. And that's why the men of the Lord back then, the Israelites, had multiple women. Because you have a baby, you can't touch it for 40 days. You want some, and the only way to get some is to marry someone else.
That's why.
Yeah, that's right.
Was it Abraham's wife who
oh yeah.
She offered
Sarai? Oh no,
yeah.
no, what's her name? Hagar?
Yeah.
Hagar?
She offered Hagar to her husband.
Good job, Sarah.
You know, just so that he could make that kid or whatever.
And that's a good wife right there. That is a good wife. Let me get another scripture.
We go to the next one. 18.
Verse 18, the woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean till the evening.
Yeah, so even the woman, you know, if you get your seed of copulation on her, you know, then you're both gonna have to bathe in water.
And the only reason I told that even my dad was because I had to wait this long. That he had a good, cool shirt, because that shirt had death on it. And he looked like he was ready to fucking die, man. Missing one leg and shit. But see, we don't have to yell at Edomites all the time.
Because that was spiritual, you know, the way you said it, because on his shirt it was like a skeleton or whatever.
With a sickle.
It was a Grim Reaper, you know.
And we all know Revelation 14 and 14.
The reason why we like that, because he's going to come take the Edomites out.
That's why that was a cool shirt for me. Hey, I would wear that. That's a cool shirt, man. Edomites dig that kind of stuff, man. And then one of the brothers made a video on the Edomite woman. She said, yeah, she has sex with dogs. So you definitely can't have sex with her because that bitch is unclean. See, there's so many things that makes us unclean around here. So many things. Shoot, we're breaking laws right now because we have different kinds of cloth on us. We got denim, pants are denim. We got cotton, polyester. We you know. So we have to try. We have to make a conscious effort. Like if I know that sometimes I forget because I get so busy at work. Oh, it's the Sabbath. So I'm like, cool. I gotta keep it holy.
So just like you said right now, that'll be Exodus 20 and 8.
Exodus 20 and 8. This is Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy.
That's right. You got to remember the Sabbath day. That means whatever you got to do, you got to mark your calendar. You know, set your watch.
Set your phone. Because you got the lunar app. And look at, man, everybody in the fucking whole world uses a moon calendar except Babylon. That lets you know that America is Babylon the Great, causing you confusion.
Yeah, so to remember the Sabbath, you have to know
About the moon?
About the moon, you know, because the moon runs off the Sabbath. You know, when you look in the sky and you don't see anything, you don't see the moon, that means it's called a new moon. You know, when you see the moon in the sky and it's a full moon, then that's the what is it when it's a full moon?
When it's a full moon, it's the beginning of the month. It's a new month. When it's
when there's no moon, that's a new moon.
That's the beginning of the month. When there's a full moon, that's the second week, the second week of the Sabbath.
It's a full moon. I think it's the middle of the month.
Yep. A full moon is the middle of the month. This is Genesis 1 and 4. No, let me start at 3. Well, let me start at 1 from the beginning. In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of the powers moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So there has to be light. So what kind of light? There has to be different kinds of light, right? Verse 4. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So the evening and the morning were the first day. So that's told to you by the new moon. And if you go to the blue letter and type in new moon, you have all kinds of scriptures on new moons. Yeah, that was it.
So,
Let me get this next one. This is verse 14. And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." For signs. Keeping the Sabbath is a sign.
Yeah.
The moon is a sign to let your ass know when to keep the Sabbath.
Oh, that's
I have a whiteboard that I put up that has the dates on the Sabbath, and I have the application on my phone. So I'm always like looking on the whiteboard just to count.
Yeah, so just yesterday, was the Sabbath. It was a Wednesday night to Thursday night, and we're in Friday right now.
And the new moon's coming up pretty soon too. Want me to keep going in Exodus? Let me get in verse 9 too. Exodus 20 and 9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works. Hey, so for 6 days, you could copulate. You have sex.
Yeah. So tell me that's not enough time
More than
for
enough.
you to do what you got to do, and tell me you can't give Yahweh Shai one day.
And that's what the problem lies in. A, we don't know the times. B, you're too stingy with your fucking time. Like you have time to make videos. You have time to come up here and ask questions. But you just want to make a scene. You want to drive up in your truck and say, "Hey, how about Shimmy outside?" and then drive off, and then we'll never see your ass again. You think Yahweh Shai is just listening to you once every year? You think he just listens to your suffering on the Day of Atonement every year? He's listening to us all the time because he's got angels all over the place. All the time, man. Every time we're suffering, he knows about it. Every time we have joy, he knows about it. Why? Because he's doing it. He's allowing it to happen. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai gives the Spirit to our teachers who teaches these things. And if you say, I don't know why anybody would say 6 days is not enough. 6 days is more than enough. Shit. Sometimes I feel like I want to have my own fucking home. And I'm about to fucking sell my house and just go down a step and just get my own apartment. Because that's just too much noise, man. I'm getting too old and I'm growing in the truth, and I don't, I want to push that noise out. Okay, so it's tough, man, because we got to follow laws and regulations, because the Yahweh Shem Yahushai will bless you, but you got to stay clean. Like for war, you have to stay clean for 3 days. Let me get in this scripture.
You want to keep going?
In Exodus?
Yeah.
This is Exodus 20 and 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Now it says, you're not supposed to do any work, but you know, we're under curses right now, and Yahweh Shimi Yahushai, he knows your heart. If you really, you know, if you have to go to work, you know, and you can't call off every Sabbath. You know?
It changes, every Sabbath changes. You might not have time to cover it.
Now we're going to Exodus.
Back to Exodus 9 and 20.
Exodus 19 and 14.
This is Exodus 19 and 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes.
So right here, Moses, you know, he's about to see Yahweh, you know, because that's why he's washing his clothes, and he's getting cleaned up, because it said he sanctified the people and washed their clothes. And sanctified, you know, that means being holy, you know, being clean. And then it keeps going.
Let me just say something about being clean. It's so hard to be clean in Babylon, because for every captivity that we've been under, the whole point of those captivities was to try to make us unclean. Try to make us unclean and separate us from our power, Yahweh Shemi Yahushai, because Yahweh Shemi Yahushai needs to have clean servants. That's like you're gonna go lay down with this fine bitch right after you take a shit, smelling like duty. You didn't even wipe your ass right. Trying to climb in the bed, you leave shit marks on the fucking sheet. She looks at him and says, "What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here! These are the silk sheets." You gotta have respect for Yahweh. You gotta have respect for Yahweh Shemi Yahushai. You just got to. And he is no respecter of persons. So, back to 19.
Read 14 and go to 15.
This is Exodus 19 and 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day, come not at your wives.
So what does it mean, come not at your wives, you know? It means not to have sex, you know? Because Yahweh's going to be coming, he said, the third day. So 3 days they couldn't have sex, you know? Come not at your wives.
And I could see how our people will. I'm getting a fucking call from Robot. But I can see how our people would be afraid, because they actually saw the power, seen the power, witnessed the power. Just imagine Moses sticking his hand into his bosom, pulling it out, and it's white as snow. Now, why is that scary though? Let me explain why that's scary. Because that's a fucking curse. That's a curse. That's uncleanness.
That's the curse of Cain.
That's the curse of Cain, man. That shows you right there. You ain't supposed to mingle with no white folks. Unless they're Israelites, Israelite foreigners.
Because Yahweh Bashimi Hawashai, he was telling them, he was saying, I'll make you white. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shoot. Damn, man. That's got to be the worst thing in the world then.
But he turned his hand back to the color it was, you know?
And having a lighter shade of skin is really a curse. To the point where you get sunburned.
Oh yeah, they said a confusion of face is a shame. You're shamefaced.
It doesn't mean Israelite foreigners. Hey, and how many of these people, well, these Mexicans, Latinos, and Negroes look like they got shamefaced? They look shamefaced. Man, we got shamefaced.
Yeah, they said we were white. Remember that?
That's a damn shame.
That One guy said he was wrong.
And it's always something, man. It's always some type of shit. Some bullshit. It's always time to play with Jake. And there's a lot of Jakes out here. There's a lot of Jakes. Getting confused in their faces. Shamefaced Jakes.
And I think Tahar said that two black people can make a white albino, I think it's called. You know?
Yeah. Hey, imagine that. Hey, that must have been the biggest curse to have Esau as a child, huh? You won't even tell your grandma, your mama, you had a baby.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is this?
Hey, but back then people knew that was judgment. Hey, that must have been scary as fuck. If they would have known what we know now, oh, the fucking devil, they probably would have killed his ass. Imagine. Woo! Man. So once again, and I always say that, I think I say this every week, how in the world can you Christians and you Islam people say that God is all good? Man, to make someone fight like that, that's now that we talk about it,
Yeah.
that's fucking bad. That's saying I fucking hate you.
Yeah. So why would the Most High make His Son,
My
with something with a curse? You know? You know?
That's just fucking hilarious, man.
If leprosy was a curse, the Most High wouldn't make His Son look like that.
Shit.
Because being the Son of God, you gotta be pure. You got without blemishes.
Yeah, Yahushua was pure when he came as Yahushua
You can't
in his
have
last form.
you can't be retarded. You know.
Shit, man. Like Moab's gonna be the son, and I almost say that because when a father and a daughter have babies, that baby's fucking retarded. How the fuck is Moab gonna be the king of Israelites? I was watching cartoons last night, and the Cartoon Network is fucking full of shit. But there was this cartoon American Dad, and he was having a conference in the office, and he said, and the officer said something, and Stan repeated it to him, and the officer made a face like he was retarded. It was fucking funny. You know how when people say something, you act like you're retarded, and it makes them seem like they're retarded. See, that shit is fucking funny. If you think being retarded is shameful, why on earth would you want to paint the Lord white? That's a curse.
Yeah, because being retarded, the Most High is the one that did it, because there was a issue in the scriptures when somebody's kids were retarded, and they were asking, why is he like that? Is it because the sin of the father,
Yeah.
or the sin of the parents, because the sin of the parents it'll trickle down to your kids,
But we also know that a child can't pay for the sin of the father. Because let's say, because when King David got that woman pregnant, that was adultery, and that baby died.
Because we come back every third or fourth generation.
Yeah, and I was just reading that earlier.
The spirit comes back.
Hey, this planet is full of judgment. This is hell, man. We're living in the grave, man. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death.
That's right.
That's what we have to be. Wise as serpents, yet gentle as doves. We're surrounded by death, and you know what I mean by death? You Edomites. You're the motherfucking death.
You can't escape that shadow.
Hell no. And I bet you motherfuckers are so happy that you have a dark shadow. That's the only fucking thing that's gonna be dark about you. Exodus 19 and 15. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come now at your wives.
Right, so he wanted them to be in a state of holiness, a state of cleanness. They wanted them to, you got to have your mind, focused.
gotta have your mind focused and be clean.
Just like said, like brother said, right before war, you said they got to be 3 days. That's because when you have sex, you release all that testosterone that you have in you. So it weakens you.
It sure does, man. It sure does, man. I can testify from experience. My first cage fight, I had sex the night before. I was having sex the whole time during the training. I didn't have no legs.
Yep. It takes out your knees, It takes out your legs.
I mean, I was fighting, but it was like I was too slow. It was like I was too slow, and that's my biggest fucking shame right there. But the Lord had it that I didn't win, and that I went through that depression, and that I didn't follow those steps, because this is the biggest fight of my life. This is the biggest fight.
Those MMA trainers, they keep themselves. They say they can't have no women.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, you have to be
keep
strong.
themselves disciplined. And they take nothing but protein and vitamins and all that.
Keep your body fucking fit. And man, when somebody's overpowering you, whoo, that's not a good feeling, man.
Yeah.
That's not a good feeling. That's why the whole world was scared of King David, because King David kept it pure, kept himself pure, kept his armies pure. And when they went to war, there wasn't just those men going to war. It was Yahweh Shem Yahushai going to war with them.
Not only keeping themselves clean, but having that faith.
Man. Yeah, so
that's a combination.
Yeah. And this is the biggest comeback of the hopeful elect's lives, man. Out of all the lives we've lived, this is the biggest comeback, because we've sinned so many times during our past lives. This is the last time this is the last round, and we're getting up, our knees are shaking, we got a glass jaw. But guess what? We want to try so hard that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to have so much mercy on us. He's going to make us to those pillars.
Yep, because this is the last captivity,
Yeah,
it's the last kingdom. America is the last kingdom.
I'm so glad and fucking tired at the same time. You don't even know, man.
All the kingdoms had a rise and a fall. You think America's not?
Hey, and even though these 2/3 and the other people are our biggest enemies, the ones that are controlling them are the demons. So we got enemies on the floor, we got enemies in the spiritual world. It's looking bad for us. But guess what? We're that spiritual Rocky Balboa. We're the people